I am literally, I am literally living this right now. I'm posting about the wisdom that comes from struggle. And I'm literally living this one right now. I have done 5 Facebook Live videos already so far today, and I just keep telling myself, persevere, Leslie. Persevere. There's wisdom here. There's purpose to this struggle right now. So I'm coming around to this one and I'm saying the wisdom that comes from struggle. I'm moving forward in faith right now that I'm struggling at this moment in these particular ways, and that there is lessons on the other side for me. And I'm joyous actually right now as I say that, because there was a time in my life where I couldn't have said that. I didn't have faith in myself. I didn't have faith in the process of living enough to be able to even sit here and do 5 stinking Facebook Live videos and struggle in kind of a public way and admit that this is hard. This is hard, really trying to communicate messages that I feel like are worth other people's time and not just blowing smoke. So I guess this is the thing that I keep thinking about right now. And this is a kind of a cliche story, kind of a cliche metaphor. And I hope that you have encountered this one before. But I think that as people who are helping young people, teenagers and college students, young professionals come into their own in this world, that this is a very important metaphor to keep in mind. And it is the metaphor of the butterfly. The story of this goes that there was once a person who came upon the cocoon of a butterfly and saw that the butterfly was just trying to come out of that cocoon. And the person thought to themselves, "Ooh, that looks so very painful, and I really want this butterfly to come out, and I want the struggle to stop right now. And let me help this butterfly come out of the cocoon now." And so took little fingers and pulled open the cocoon, cracked open the shell, and sped up the whole process so that the butterfly could get out of the cocoon. And boom, the butterfly was free. And the butterfly flapped around a bit, and within a relatively short amount of time, the butterfly never got to where it could fly, and it died right there. And the sad person just didn't understand what happened. And along came a wise person, and this person said, "What happened is that you didn't give the butterfly the opportunity to struggle. That it is actually the struggling and the fighting to get out of the cocoon that forces fluid into the butterfly's wings, so that the wings become strong enough that it can emerge from the cocoon and go fly away and dry off." And by cutting short that struggle, you didn't give the butterfly a chance to become strong. So the lesson here that the story shares is that there is something to struggle that gives us strength. The other thing that I have learned about butterflies inside of cocoons that I think is really, really cool is that the caterpillar, when it goes inside of the cocoon, actually liquefies. It actually turns to liquid. I always thought that the caterpillar's eyeball turned into the eyeball of the butterfly, and that there had to have been some organs that stayed the same from the one to the other. And what scientists have proven is that actually that's not true. Once the caterpillar goes inside of the cocoon, everything everything that was once the caterpillar is completely dismantled and turned into a liquid, and that liquid then finds a new form and a new shape and recreates into a totally new creature, into that butterfly. So for us who are serving the teenagers and the adults as the young adults as they form and they transition into their college years, I think it's important for us to keep in mind that there is purpose in their struggles. And sometimes they literally lose their identity. And things that you once saw in them, they change, completely transform. But it is through the struggle that this new being takes shape, and you never know what that new being may be. And inside of ourselves, as parents and as adults who are helping young people, we are also going through a process. What can be so hard about helping young people figure out what they want to be when they grow up, and how they can make decisions about their adult lives, is oftentimes we're sitting here looking at our own lives and going, well, this is a total nightmare for me. I don't know what I'm doing half the time myself. So how on earth am I supposed to give guidance to this person as they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives when I don't even know what I want to be doing with mine? How can I give them any wisdom when I feel like I don't have any for myself? And where I've come to in the work that I do is that my job is not to prevent young people from struggling. They are going to struggle. That is a part of this experience for them. They need to do that in order to realize just how strong and just how capable they are. If anything, as adults, what problems we are causing right now is that we are trying to take away the struggle for young people. Somebody recently, Dr. Gigi Johnson, shared with me a metaphor that she learned from a colleague that she has in a Scandinavian country. I'm wanting to say Sweden, that they use a metaphor there called curling parents rather than helicopter parents. That's the phrase that we use in the United States a lot, to try to explain why, as parents, we want to take the struggle out of our kids' lives. They use the phrase curling parents, like the Olympic sport curling, where the athletes will scrub the ice in front of the thing that they're scooting along the ice, trying to take all of the obstacles, any little snag out of the path of that disc that's scooting across the ice. That in Sweden, the way that they describe some of the behavior of parents is that they are working so hard to clear any little obstacle in front of their child so that the child knows no obstacle. And it reminds me of the story of the Buddha, and this isn't religious in any way, shape, or form. In fact, Buddhism, many would argue, was not even a religion. It is a philosophy. It is an understanding. But the philosophy is based on the early life of the person who became the Buddha. And that person had parents of great financial means who tried to protect the child from ever experiencing pain, ever experiencing death, suffering, loss, disappointment, set up this entire system inside of the palace that was this complete paradise. And then one day, inevitably, the young man got outside of the palace walls and saw people begging on the street, and saw people who were crippled by disease, and saw death, and saw the realities of life. And it just devastated the child on two levels. First of all, because it was like, whoa, I don't know how to deal with any of this because because I don't have any framework for actually dealing with any of this. And then it devastated the child because it was like, oh my gosh, my parents have lied to me. My parents have created a complete fantasy of the way that the world is, and actually did me great harm in their attempts to try to protect me. And again, going back to that butterfly story, that in our attempts to protect our kids and keep them safe, keep them from struggling, sometimes we teach them the opposite, and we create weaknesses in them that really don't have to be there. That if they had the chance to struggle, if they had the chance to be uncomfortable, if they had the chance to experience disappointment, that then they would learn perseverance. Then they would learn resourcefulness. Then they would learn how to find the strength within themselves to transform pain into compassion. So as I have been struggling through my day, I'm beginning to really realize that I'm here to share a wake-up call to myself first, and then to others, that our job is not to keep our kids from struggling. Our job is not to keep them from making bad decisions. Our job is not to make their way easier, because life is tough. We don't need to throw obstacles in their way and frustrate them. And the problem, that I do see in much of the college world is we are throwing obstacles in their way. We are making far more stress and far more debt and far more far more pain for them in some really whacked out ways that we've created our education system. And I do see it as my job to help parents and students navigate around those obstacles that do not need to be there, and to begin to create new habits that don't have to be so stressful. These artificial stresses and strains that we put on kids that really are causing them harm, that is my job, to help parents and students see that, help educators see that and go like, whoa, enough. We don't have to do this anymore. Just because everybody else is doing this does not mean that this is the path that we need to follow. And let's find smarter ways. But I also am here to make a call that says, but do not protect your kids from the struggle that is just endemic to becoming an adult. Walk with them. Be with them. Help them connect with other adults who will support them through that journey. But do not fear struggle. It is the greatest teacher. And I'm proud of myself for persevering through my own struggles today. My struggles of, am I good enough? Am I the right person to create this message and share this today? So maybe I have come to a place of wisdom right here in front of you. Maybe I've become a little butterfly, and maybe a cheesy butterfly too. But I'm posting this on Facebook. I'm bravely putting this out there in the world, and I hope that you will hear a little bit and plunge back into the struggles of your own life with some faith that you do have the tools and the resourcefulness to push through and find your own wisdom. Enjoy your children and talk with them and be with them. Have a great day.